All right, so here we are on episode 2.
Numero 20.
And so we have a special guest with us here today.
Super
He's
special.
Super special. He is a master in his craft and a pretty incredible human being. So without further ado, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, this is master of his craft, incredible human being, Chuck Huber, coming to you live from Fort Worth, Texas, where I have just completed mowing both the back and front yards.
Wow.
Both
Thank you.
yards.
Both of
Thank
them.
you. Both of them.
We forgot to mention amazing lawn mower in his title.
Yeah, that
We
should
should
have
have
been in
said
there.
that.
Official.
I am
Now,
also
I
a
heard-
what'd you hear?
I heard you do like a really good impression of Android 17.
I do.
Is this
I
true?
do.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it? This is
Yeah.
my Android 17 impression. Okay. Let me get warmed up. Okay, now I'm ready.
All right.
This
good.
is my Android 17 impression. Hello, my name is Android 17, and I'm here to destroy the world.
That's spot on.
That's pretty good.
sounds pretty good,
that's
right?
Pretty
Yeah.
accurate. That is very
Yeah,
accurate.
I like that. It's how I hear him in my head.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So tell us about what it is that you do, and what voices you do, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I've been voice acting since I was in the womb. They actually had a in utero microphone, and I was it's an ancient Don Knotts movie where he turns into a fish. I actually in utero did some of the bubble noises. So that was my first. No, my first voice acting gig was Garlic Jr.
Garlic.
I was Garlic Jr. I'm gonna push you into the dead zone. And I got that role because a buddy of mine, Brad Jackson, was like, "Hey man, you should go audition for this Dragon Balls thing." And I was like, "Dragon Balls? That sounds like
that
porn."
sounds
And he was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "No, it's Japanese anime." And I was like, "Okay, so it's definitely porn." And he was like, "No, it's."
You're like, it's weirder porn then. That's
It's fighting porn. It's power up porn. That's what it is.
It's the best kind.
It really is.
Yeah,
It's kind of like power up porn. And then I've been doing it ever since. I went from Garlic Jr. to Android 17 to Emperor Pilaf to Capito, Master Shen, Mr. Shu, Android 13. And then I did Hiei and Yu Yu Hakusho, Stein and Soul Eater, Austria and Hetalia, Kululu and Sergeant Frog, Shao Tucker and Full Metal Alchemist. Everybody loves that one. They hate him. No,
They do.
they don't like him very much.
They're like, you're that guy who merged your daughter with a dog, aren't you? All right. So
Sorry, I'm drinking water because it's hot outside.
no, yeah, it's also
too.
really hot here. I mean,
That is
probably
your
not as hot
right.
as it is there. But
Where are you? Where is here? Where is here for you guys?
We are in Syracuse, New York. It is.
It's not.
It is.
It's not hot up there.
No, it's. It's just humid.
it's only
What we got?
it's let's see, it's 81 right now. That's not that bad.
Oh, that's pretty hot. That's legit.
We're usually
That's
snowing
actual warmth.
almost all the time. So
Right.
yeah.
Getting hit with bomb cyclones and
Bomb
the
cyclones.
like.
Right.
Yeah. So
I think I have friends who film a bunch of movies up in a filmmaker friend of mine, John Keys, producer, line I forget what he does, production manager, something.
They've been shooting a
Just-
lot of movies up here lately.
Yeah.
like a lot.
Crypto. I think they shot the movie Crypto up there.
So we have some questions about relating to kind of society and voice acting
right.
and the like
Sure.
to throw at you. So I'm going to start off, and we're going to just alternate them, and that's how it'll go.
All right. I'll answer them with my brain.
That sounds like a plan. So our first question is, what is the biggest challenge you face in today's society, whether it's as a voice actor or just as a person in general?
As a voice actor, I don't face. It's not a lot of challenges
Right.
at this point in my career, which is nice. In society, I mean, everybody's facing sort of the same challenge right now, which is this pandemic.
Survive.
Yeah, and it's weird and it's fractured, and usually when there's a crisis that's global, the country pulls together, but that's not really happening this time.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know if everybody's being like categorized. It feels, I'd say the biggest challenge I have in my life is raising my children in this world, of which I have 7. So I've got 5 biological children and 2 stepchildren.
Oh wow.
One of them's autistic. So I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to raise a bunch of. I mean, because they all have, they're all like humans,
Yeah.
and they have their own ideas, and they all want to be successful and do stuff with their lives.
And they're in
So-
that like learning stage.
I'm actually
Yeah.
just about to have my first my son, and will be born in a couple weeks. So.
Oh my gosh, your
Oh, yeah.
wife is so fat right now. She is.
Oh no. I'll tell her not
No,
to listen
that-
to this.
No, it's okay.
edit
It's
that
okay.
part
It's those last 2 weeks are just that's just the beach whale stage where it's like, please just make it end, and you're just like ready to get it out.
That is so.
I mean,
accurate.
I didn't have to suffer it, but I mean, I know what it's like being supportive of the wife who
Right.
just every joint and everything is just not like it's all. I mean, you just think about that baby in there. Where did the lungs go? Where's the liver?
That's what I was like. Where's your stomach? Where is all that?
Yeah.
All this.
How do you do? Yeah, and then you're gonna have a kid, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, this is hard.
Here we go.
And it is. It's one, and I'll tell you this. This is the good news. One is the hardest.
Oh.
It is
That's-
easier after
okay.
that.
I'll
I don't know
learn.
if you're planning on having more than one, but like one is the hardest. Actually, 2 under the age of 3 is probably the hardest.
I'm trying to convince
then-
her, but
then-
we'll see.
Yeah. I'll let you figure that out.
We'll let
yeah,
you do that part
congratulations.
yourself.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So, Dustin, you wanna?
Yeah. So I have a question.
All right.
As the voice of so many iconic characters,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever imagined yourself doing anything else other than voice acting? And if so, what?
Well, the real answer is I do a lot of other stuff. I mean, like
You've written you've written books before too, right?
I've written books. I've written screenplays.
You were on
I've
like Star
dir-
Trek and.
Star Trek Continues. I did, I do film work. I help make films. I edit films. I have a children's book I wrote, and my wife is illustrating. I teach. I do a lot of teaching. I was originally a teacher. I've been a teacher probably since I was 15, teaching at YMCA camps. So, I mean, I've been teaching longer than I've been acting by 2 years. So,
Oh wow.
I started acting professionally at 17, and I stared teaching for money at 15. So yeah, and I still
awesome.
continue teaching to this day. I teach 3 different online acting courses. One's called The Business of Voiceover that Andy Field leads. I teach a class called Voice, Character, and Dialect, and we do dialects and learn about how to use your voice and how to survive in the industry. Andy's Business of Voiceover teaches you where to audition, how to set up your booth, how to make money. And then I do just a straight up improv monologue Shakespeare scene study class, which is just hardcore acting training, which you can do through Zoom. I mean, you can do some acting stuff, but I still always encourage the students to go to their local live theater and take some actual acting classes on a stage, because there's nothing that replaces it.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Very
agree.
good.
No. So yeah, I do a lot of other stuff. I'm an avid hiker. I just got my technician class ham radio license.
Oh, cool.
sweet. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Very
So
busy bee. All right.
yeah, I like to I'm always I'm studying Spanish right now.
okay.
I almost went to law school
Oh,
came
wow.
very close to going to. Yeah, I actually got a full scholarship and was ready to
Oh, wow. Okay.
start last August, and then there were complications. We had just a house came on the market that my wife wanted, so we bought the house and we were moving, and we were just moving into the new house, and actually now looking back, I'm really glad I pulled out at the last minute, because it would have been a really difficult back end of the law school, finishing up with the pandemic. It would have been
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they would have been like, it's a pandemic, you all pass.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice, right?
Yeah. I still may go back to law school at some point.
Hey, why not?
I don't know. I like it. I enjoy the law. It is suited to me because it's all about language. It's all about control of language. It's magic spells. It's essentially what sorcery and wizardry eons ago
In the real
Because
world,
wizards, I think wizards were just people who were able to use tricks of logic and magic words to convince people of things.
And yeah, Dustin knows a thing or two about that, being a mentalist.
I know. I'm
That's-
like, that's.
Oh,
kinda
yeah,
what that's what I
for
do.
sure.
That's
Yeah. So I mean, and that's what lawyers do. That's what lawyers do in, they're casting spells on the judge, the jury, the defense.
Now that you say that, that's actually kind of funny, because for now that I'm just realizing that there are a lot of magicians in my field that are also lawyers. So that kind of makes sense now. That's interesting. I never thought of it.
And
that.
you would. I would think there would be lawyers who would be interested in using, hypnosuggestion or mentalist techniques to, influence clients, influence juries. I mean, all that stuff works.
Yeah, that's true.
People are robots. You can kind of program.
Program. Yeah.
So this kind of is involved with what we've been talking about. So, with you being so motivated to do all these different things, what do you think? What makes you feel inspired to be the best version of who you are?
Well, I have one overall goal. Like we talk about a super objective. What is your character's objective? What do you want? And
Sure.
Right now, what I want is to basically that my job is to try to live at least as for long enough for my children to figure out what we did to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right. Okay.
I don't want them to have any gaps later on as they start to come, like, how did I end up here? Why am I this way? I want them to be able to come back and sit with me in the backyard and go, Dad, tell me stories, and I'll be able to tell them. So like my super objective to be healthy and that's why I like the hiking, and I'm pretty avid at working out and whatnot.
Right.
Not too like hardcore or anything, but I got a good practice.
Yeah.
Plus a big yard I have to take care of, so that's a lot of.
Front lawn, back.
A lot of that
back
lawn mowing.
But my what inspires me, I guess. Then what inspires me is my children. I want to be not successful for them, but present. I want to be available.
Right.
And having free time when they're around and young, because 80% of the time here for the newly fathered in the room, soon to be, you spend 80% of the time that you're going to spend with your child all before the age of 18. So from 18 to whenever you die, you only get 20% more.
Oh.
Because they go off and live their own lives, So everything you do and really everything you do happens kind of before the age of 15, 16. That's when now you can still force them to do stuff. I still force my children to go do things with me because I know it's good for them.
Yeah.
Well, and I was talking with a friend a while ago about it, kind of back when I was like nervous, when we first found out, we were like, oh, what are we doing? And so we were talking, and he's like, well, I was telling him how I was worried that like when you have a kid, that's like the end of your story, and that it's like, I don't know, you feel older, and then you know, that stuff like that. And he's like, no, it's something that enriches your story, and you kind of, you know, move along with them and have your own story together. And I was like, that's really
Yeah, that's 100% true. I also always tell people that children are the surest way to become a better person, because nobody wants to get a perp walk for throwing a baby through a window. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you're deciding, should I be a better person or should I throw this baby through this window? You
Pretty much
think
gives you
about being on the
solid
news, and then you decide, I'm going to be a better person and not throw the baby through the window. Not that you would really throw a baby through a window, but you get to that point
Goes
where
through your head at some point.
you're like, you just haven't had sleep, and your wife is so tired, and this kid is having stomach issues or whatever, and you don't know how to fix it, and they just cry and cry and cry, and you feel your temperature rise, and you feel like you're going to go insane, and then you just have to kind of submit and be like, yeah, I'm here with you, kid, and you're just going to have to cry, and I'll try to stuff your little knees and your belly and see if I can make you fart and make you feel better. Or, you try all the different positions. You have all different ways of trying to get them to sleep. And then they finally go to sleep, and you get to lay them, you just lay down on you're like, I'm not going to move. I'm just going to go to sleep while they're asleep on my chest. And you just catch like 45 minutes of sleep before you have to get up and take a shower and go work a 10-hour construction shift doing demo or whatever, and
You're gonna have quite a life.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
Good luck, buddy.
Well, I mean, you of course have someone to share the burden with, so you don't have to. You're not on 100% of the time, which makes it
right.
Makes it better for sure.
All right, so Dustin.
Yeah. So, what's the most important thing you've learned in your life? And that's a heavy question. And what was life like before learning that?
Okay, this.
It's a tough one.
Okay, it is tough, but it's one I've well thought about. Probably the most important thing I learned is that pain is the best teacher.
That's very true.
Pain teaches you more fully and completely than any other sensation, and you can either grow and rise from pain and change and become stronger, or you can let it destroy you. But even if you let it destroy you and you're able to pick yourself back up, you still end up gaining the lesson. And you can try to avoid pain, but avoiding pain is like always having comfort. If you always have comfort, you don't know what comfort is like.
Right.
So if you're constantly comfortable, you can't feel comfort. You are like, you have to. We are creatures of values, of differentiating values. So we dark and light, high and low, happy and sad. Like we see things in comparison, algorithmically. So if you are ever feeling sad or disheartened or unmotivated, just take a cold shower and jump in a cold lake. Go for a big hike. Big hikes are my favorite thing.
Hikes are awesome.
I did the Wind River High Route. It's like 93 miles.
Oh my gosh.
13,000 feet.
And all right, I was talking about like 5-minute hikes. But you're like, you're doing like real hikes.
Yeah, those are good too. 5-minute hikes are good too. It doesn't matter. Like if you, but like pain and gratitude are two of the most powerful superpowers that we have. We can eliminate anger and weariness and sadness with gratitude, and you can do the same with by consciously accepting or inviting pain into your life. And I'm not talking about people who are have an issue with hurting themselves. That's certainly a different psychological thing. What I'm talking about is it's as simple as you're going to take a hot shower, but it's got to warm up. Why not just jump in, turn it on, and let the cold water shock you until it warms up? And then you take the warm shower and then you turn it cold at the very end and you freeze yourself before you step out into the world. I tell people, if you take a cold shower that way, you step out into the world and it feels warmer. Whereas when you take a hot shower and it's wintertime, you get out and you're like, oh, it's so cold, I gotta get dry.
Right.
And you take a cold shower, you're like, I can handle this temperature. I'm fine. You know, it's like if you invite pain as a sort of controlled burn, you know, it keeps a greater hedge around your psychological space so that you're not as movable by mentalists who would seek to take advantage of you.
Right.
And I don't mean you in particular, but I do mean like the world of mentalists trying to take all of our energy. You know.
No, I definitely. I get it.
They're like androids 19 and 20. They just try to suck the energy out of you.
Yeah, we just suck the energy out of people.
So let's see.
What type of mentalism do you do? Can you do anything on me right now? You can make me say make me say the number 7 over and over again, and then pick a vegetable, and it's carrot or whatever.
Carrot? Yeah, that's a good one, right?
That is a good one.
Yeah. No. So what I do is more like visual. So I mean, it's hard. I can't. You know, I know things like that, like psychological. They're called psychological forces. But with me, it's more of a visual thing. I kind of look at different tells and signs, and not so much. Sometimes I'll influence people, but most of the time it's just kind of reading them. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the micro expressions. I tell people, if you want to know how someone's feeling, look at their lips.
Yeah.
You know, look at their lips and their eyes, and make that face they're making, and make that in your head and see how that makes you feel. And you can tell someone feels by, that's sort of like the shorthand for it.
With so much violence, hostility, and morally gray areas in the world today, what is the best tip you'd give to make the world a better place?
Deep questions.
I know.
I love
them. I like them. Well, I think it starts with not giving a shit what anybody thinks about you, while at the same time caring very deeply about everyone around you. So that and that's the yin and yang of it. A lot of, I don't know, like you have to make your world a peaceful place. And a better place. You can't make you can't make anything outside of you better than you are on the inside. So you really have to start with you and your people, your family, your friends, and you guys decide to be better together. And if everybody's doing that, then that's how the world becomes a better place.
Oh, good.
I think we're in it. I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be a nice change after this little weirdness. I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah, hit a nice like golden age. That'd be cool.
Yeah, like
that'd be cool. That'd be great. Oh man, I was thinking back to when the internet was new and everybody was friends. It was so nice.
Yeah. You know, that actually goes perfectly with the next question. Because it's you started kind of, would you say you started your industry like before social media was like a thing?
Oh yeah.
So do you like, how do you feel like did it change anything with voice acting or anything you do, or was it pretty much just the same?
Well, it certainly, as anime voice actors started becoming guests at conventions, and we started having fans. Social media became an integral part of that. The way to connect with fans, to connect with conventions, to promote shows, to promote appearances. Right. And it is it's a vital portion of it now. I transferred my social media presence and my convention presence into, I do an online voice acting competition like three or four times a year called Now Voice This. Next one's in July. so I connect with the fans that way, and then I teach the acting classes, which is sort of a more like a deeper connection than social, because social media was becoming, it's the same conversations thousands and thousands and thousands of times over.
Right.
And I was getting not bored with it, but I was like, I think I can do better. I think I can have a better relationship with the people who support me so much. And that's where the voice acting competition and teaching the classes, and now I've got friends, compadres, people. Then it changes your relationship with the fans, and then it's like, oh well, you're just my teacher now. You're just a professor, and it's a different relationship. I don't want to say it's more genuine. It just has more options to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
And that leads right in, I mean, with you teaching those classes, with the character building and the dialects and so on, out of everything you teach, what is the main advice that you'd give to somebody looking to get into the voice acting business?
Yeah, there's so many ways to get into the voice acting business nowadays. There's so many online opportunities, e-learning, audiobooks, commercials around the world, even and especially after this pandemic. A lot of voice acting is going to stay permanently at people's studios, their private studios.
Sure.
Operate out of their houses. So it's a golden age for the home studio.
Right.
And you start with that. You start by building your ability to record proper audio from your home. I mean, that's got to be number one on the list. And shortly after that, number one is you have to know how to act.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that comes through practice. And then probably number three on the list is what we in the class we have physical exercises that involve acting, and then we have exercises that involve psychology, and we talk about subroutines, like how do you program your life to go a certain direction by adding different routines you want into your life to the already established routines that you're really good at. I was really good at drinking coffee every morning, so I just attached push-ups to it, and Nice. Started with 8 push-ups per cup of coffee, and now I'm doing 50 push-ups per cup of coffee, having 3 cups a day. So I'm doing
I actually I started
push-ups a day.
I started doing that after you told me about that in the email, because I also love coffee. So yeah, no, that actually works great because I always want coffee.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a power up, and you're like, I have to unlock the power up by doing. Now I've added sit-ups to it too. So
nice.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna be like running a full marathon before you drink coffee.
That's right.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Well, if I want that Big Mac, I'm going to have to do some CrossFit. That's kind of the way I work it. I tell people sometimes that if they're asking for like nutrition advice, I'm not a nutritionist, but I'll say keep eating exactly what you're eating. If you're in there, like, but I love pizza and I can eat a whole pizza. I'm like, order that pizza. Just eat an apple first.
Right.
Or a couple baby carrots to it, and you're like, that excuses you to eat whatever you want, and you're able to. But yeah, so we work on making sure you're psychologically fit for the business, because the business involves your ego, it involves your personality. It feels directly pointed at you at times where you are not good enough and you can't get this done. It's a lot of failure. If you're successful in this business, you fail 90% of the time.
Yeah.
That's if you're extremely successful. So when you're struggling, you can have years where you're 100% goose eggs. So being able to say, I still want to do this, and have the wherewithal to keep your creative life going forward while nobody's asking to pay you for your creative life. That's an important component to it too.
Right. Very true. Okay, so let's see.
So out of all the characters you voice, who is your favorite and why? This is a much less deep question.
Yeah, we're moving into the fun questions.
Well, I always say Hiei is my favorite character because I'd never been to a convention before Hiei. And I thought I was going to a convention to pass out flyers because Funimation was like, we're going to bring you to a convention. I was like, okay, what do I do? And they're like, we'll show up here at this time. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Am I passing out flyers? Or because as an actor, I'd worked conventions before where they pay you $100 to sit behind a booth and pass out literature for, a pipe fitting convention or whatever. And so I thought that's what I was doing. And they're like, no, you're going to sign autographs. And I was like, that's not going to work,
like,
guys. You're not going to pretend I'm famous and try to get people to take my autograph. That's really embarrassing. And then I got to the table and there was no one there, but they had the line queued up away from the table. And they pointed to the line because I was like, see how stupid this is? And they were like, no, Chuck, that's the line. And I was like, oh, what? And they're like, yes. And so they're like, release the hounds. And
They poured in and...
Yeah, and the first person was like, "You're Chuck Huber," and started crying, and I was like,
Oh wow! You're
I was like,
is this
what?
real?
What is? I thought I was gonna pass out flyers, and then I signed autographs for like three or 4 hours, and met just a bunch of fans, and fell in love. I was like, this is great. These are my friends from high school. I'm just older than them now.
That's super cool.
These are this is my nerd crew from high school, and
Actually, funny story about Hiei is one of my first action figures when I was young was Hiei.
Nice.
And my mom, it was when he was in like demon form, and my mom was like, "What is this? Like, this is what you want?" And I was like, "Yes."
With all the
there's
eyes. I have that
all over
one.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that
And
one.
I'm like, I want it. That's what I want.
So
We had a bet in acting school as to who would have their first who would be the first to get an action figure, and Gillian Anderson was a year ahead of me, and she got her action figure first. So
Nice.
I was like, oh man, so close, so close to winning.
So, since you're just about out of time here, we're going to run through some fun character questions, if that's all right.
All right,
So,
I can do it.
number 1, what would Android 17 say about the state of the world today?
I can destroy it. Why don't I just kill everyone? That'll make it easier.
It's pretty accurate.
It's like good but evil at the same time. He's like,
That's
I
right.
can ease your pain,
Right.
kill all of you.
That's right. No, maybe he'd be protecting coronavirus. Like, it's a species like all other animals. Stop trying to kill it.
So one of my favorite characters that you do is Emperor Pilaf.
Oh, I like him. Oh, my goodness.
Now here's an interesting thing: is if he had a transformation, what would it be or sound like? Because everyone in Dragon Ball seems to have some type of transformation, so maybe
Right.
he should get one.
he would train for it and then execute it, and it would, instead of making him big, would make him much, much smaller. No, he would end up being Emperor Pilaf like this. Oh. And he would
I could
be
see that
like,
happening.
in the Dragon Ball universe, he would be the Ant-Man of the Dragon Ball universe.
Oh my god, so good.
All right, so we have who do you think would win in a fight, Hiei or 17?
That's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah, me and Isaiah were like debating this like
Well,
the other day.
I was like, well, 17's like super strong. And then I was like, well, look at all the stuff that Hiei can do. And
My point was like, so Hiei is like, his is more spiritual, like spirit energy, and
Right.
17, that's more like ki, and so like I don't know, it's interesting to me. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I couldn't pick. I couldn't pick one of my. Don't make me pick which is my favorite child. I think they would fight to a standstill and then go get a beer.
Solid answer. Solid.
okay,
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Who would win in a rap battle, Kibito or Dr. Stein?
Dr. Stein for sure.
he would kill it.
There's no way, Kibito.
I'm a nightmare walking, psychopath talking.
No, he can't rap. There's no way. There's no way. Dr. Stein all the way.
Dr.
All right.
Stein. And,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
All right, so we have the final question for you. What would
final
your
question.
audition for Vegeta have sounded like?
My audition for Vegeta. Hi, my name's Vegeta. I am super strong. That's
That would have been
probably
a
what it
different
would have
character.
been like.
That would have been
Yeah, it would have been totally different.
really changed the whole story. That'd be good.
Yeah, I feel like Vegeta might not have ended up with Bulma if that were the case.
Just got a feeling.
Probably not. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, awesome. That's all the questions.
Yeah, that's all we
Oh,
got.
Thank
All right.
you so much for
Yeah,
this
my
is
pleasure,
like
man.
way longer than I I thought it would be.
Yeah, we're
I'm
like
sorry.
10 minutes. We're like, oh no. No, it's good though. It was definitely awesome. Hearing all those awesome answers.
All right.
And it was really good meeting you.
All right.
Virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah, virtually.
Yeah, let me know when you put it up and all that stuff.
Will do.
Absolutely.
And Dustin, if you're ever curious, he said he
Yeah.
would do like you could Skype him and he could do some
Do a
mentalism.
little live mental.
Oh, all right.
You can reach inside the secrets of your mind. That sounds scary. It's not.
That does sound good. That sounds good. Maybe I'll have you come into class and teach a mentalist technique.
That would be really cool. I
That
would
would be
definitely
awesome.
do that.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
It's because it's been interesting now, because I'm used to performing on, stages and I do a lot of corporate work, so it's, I do
Right.
a lot of close-up work too, but it's now we're trying to do the whole virtual thing, and it's interesting. It's definitely different. It's a little bit harder, but it works. It works.
Yeah, it is harder. It's definitely harder.
Yeah.
But you just have to figure out what does work and
Exactly.
do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right now I'm struggling with, not struggling with, but it is hard to figure out what you can do improv-wise over Zoom. Like it's not as flexible for that.
Right. Alrighty. Well,
All
right.
yeah, we'll let you go.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have
Yeah,
a good
thank
one.
you.
See you around.
Right.
See ya. Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Definitely. I was like, wow, we're really going. I was
Really
like,
driving it over to I felt so bad. I was like, oh, it's only.
I know. I was like, we told him like 10 minutes.
I know. Next time he's gonna be Android 17 and destroy us.
Destroy us.
Well, that was really fun. Honestly, some of the answers to the fun questions I did not expect at all. That peel-off transformation, I didn't expect that.
No, me neither.
I was
That
like,
so good.
here in my head, I was thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like Garlic Jr.
Garlic
yeah,
Jr.
how
I
he
thought
can
the same thing.
how he can become like buff, but then no, yeah, I guess it makes more sense that peel-off would.
It was a really good answer. That was like
It was great.
solid.
And the Kibito trying to rap, that's like, oh, it's so
I was
good.
hoping he would try to do it as Kibito.
It was it's like better than I can rap, but he's Kibito rapping better than I can rap. So yeah,
Okay,
thanks for listening,
Oh,
guys.
shit. Sorry.
So yeah, all right,
We're doing
do it
an
again.
outro.
Do it again. Ready?
We're
Here it
doing.
goes.
Are we doing an outro? Like,
Yeah.
what are we saying? All right.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Damn it, I'd say that.
I'm gonna leave that in there. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah,
And-
thanks guys. Thanks for listening to our interview with Chuck Huber.
Yes, he's a wonderful man.
He's doing some awesome social media stuff. He's doing like Fortnite streams now.
Oh yeah,
Pretty dope.
Android Huber on
Android Huber.
If you go to his page now, voice this, and you watch him stream Fortnite. Check out his classes. He's an amazing teacher. I was gonna say, that's what I was gonna say. We have video coming very soon, so you'll be able to see
Yeah.
us, together,
Yes.
our beautiful faces together,
Yes, I'm gonna wear a mask the whole
together
time.
as one. Oh,
I should wear like a paper bag.
Phantom of the
Holding-
Opera mask.
Oh, then we could do like a face reveal one day. Like everyone's supposed to do face
What-
reveals.
what are
now.
we-
They're like,
What are we, Ghost?
no, everyone does it now. They're like, you can't see my face. Okay, all
Well,
right,
They love my face, so they can see it.
all right. We should
All
just
right.
end it here.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right, bye.